Hi everyone, this is Brian and Lisa with Anderson Pens, and today we want to talk about the new Esterbrook. There's been a lot of talk online about this new pen, so we actually have some and we want to talk about it.
First of all, we need to emphasize that any opinions expressed today are our own as personal collectors and users of Esterbrook pens. For full transparency and disclosure, we did contact the new Esterbrook Pen Company to inquire about a retail opportunity. Based on the images of the pens that we saw online, we requested to buy samples of one fountain pen and one rollerball, which we did purchase at wholesale cost, which was thoughtful of the company to do. We have since been told that the company will not be able to work with us in a phone call that occurred last week after an exchange online about the usage of an image on Brian's Esterbrook.net site. They wished us well.
Yeah, as longtime collectors with the collection of Esterbrook's numbering at around the 1,000 range just for Esterbrook's alone. Plus between the two of us, we've handled thousands and thousands more in our 17 plus years each of pen collecting. We've seen a couple of pens. We were excited to hear that the Esterbrook pens were being revived. And when we saw the pictures of the new J, we were a little confused, I have to admit, a little dismayed. But we did receive the pens just before the Philly Pen Show. There has been much debate about where these pens are being made. We have no idea. We have not been able to get confirmation, so we don't know where they're made. The company is pushing the America's Original Pen Company reputation, and according to the company's Kickstarter page, and I quote, "All Esterbrook pens are made in various factories in which I have relationships with both domestically and internationally," end quote.
So, at first glance, when we got them, the sleeve on the box clearly says made in China. So the box is made there, apparently. No big deal. Many decent pens are made in China, and most users don't mind as long as they know that. It's basic economics regarding the cost of manufacturing. We carry products made in Taiwan, in Thailand, pens made in Germany, China, India, Italy, and many other countries.
Now let's take a look at the actual. Okay, here we have the box, plain white sleeve like you see on most other pens. In the corner here we've got a part number of some sort, made in China. Of interesting note, both the fountain and the rollerball pen have the exact same box. There's actually no differentiation. So as a retailer, I would have no way of knowing which pen color, whatever was in the box. It's okay, we label most everything anyway, so let's take the sleeve off.
The box is really nice. I like the box a lot.
It's nice. Black box. It's got this little aluminum band on the top. You can see it. It's got the Esterbrook logo, established 1858.
Well done.
Nice box. Open it up. We've got a nice little
laminated,
almost a bookmark style. And then on the back, we've got essentially the warranty information. All writing instruments guaranteed to be free from any and all mechanical defects for 2 years from the date of purchase, providing it has not been improperly handled. It will be repaired or replaced at no charge.
excluding shipping, it says any Esterbrook writing instrument or part requiring service under this warranty will be repaired or replaced at no charge when received at our factory from the consumer. Postage and insurance are the responsibility of the consumer, and processing fees may apply. Now, when we first received our rollerball, it did have a scuff on the barrel of the rollerball that you could feel and you could see. I don't know that I would have been happy to pay to send back a brand new pen that I had received that was defective. Luckily, we did see a company representative at the Philly Pen Show just a couple days later, and they did replace it with absolutely no trouble.
So inside of the box, some boxes have a little underneath. There's no hidden compartment here. What you see is what you get. So there's the box, pretty decent. Set that aside. This is the Rollerball. This is the is this the black, and they call this the black and white or something like that. This is the Model J. Now, for those of you who are collectors, this is the Model J.
That's Richard Esterbrook's
That's
J.
Richard Esterbrook's J. Okay, a little bit different. That's fine, I guess. Let me compare it actually to what I thought it originally was. This particular pen here is the CA101. Actually, this is the A101, the aromatic version. They also made a cartridge version, but very similar profile, much smaller in appearance.
The clip on the Rollerball and on the fountain pen, at first glance, reminded me both of a little bit of a Conklin clip and a little bit of a Visconti clip.
Visconti Kaleido. It's a tight clip, but with the way it upturns on the end here, as you can see, it actually slides into the pocket pretty decently.
It is a tight fit, though.
That's not bad. At the end, we've got a little, I don't know if you want to call that a jewel, a little metal disc, I guess. Esterbrook here on the cap band. Again, very similar to the A101, the CA101 series that we collectors know and love. I'm going to unscrew it here, and the first thing you notice is this big step here. It's quite large. There's metal here, and the threads on the pen are actually on the section and not on the barrel. So, which is interesting. You don't see that very often.
It's quite a big gap.
Yeah. So, posting is a little awkward.
Makes the pen extremely long.
I have it in my hand. I'm not sure.
It does not post very deeply on the barrel. Does not feel
Yeah, it goes in about maybe
too
not
secure.
quite an inch.
And I'm a poster. For me, I don't like pens that don't post. I will pick a different pen, whether it's a $20 pen or a $200 pen. I like to post my pens. So for some people, that's a deal breaker. For others, they don't care.
So with this step here, and I normally would hold the pen right here, it's a little uncomfortable. Posted, I would have to either move down further onto the section, which then really sets the balance quite a bit back, or I'd have to hold it further back to balance it, but then it's a little bit uncomfortable. Before we start doing writing with this one, let's take a look at what we got inside here. So it uses a Yeatsen Rollerball refill, which I believe is Chinese.
I don't know.
I'm not
It
certain.
is not a Schmidt.
It's not a Schmidt. Plastic casing. And if you look, if you look inside, there is a spring in the end of the barrel. So fountain pens and rollerballs are interchangeable. If you were to take that spring out, you could put the fountain pen section in there. Which,
from a manufacturing standpoint, makes sense.
Sure, sure. So, but again, threads on the end of the section is kind of weird. So we do a little. Right, I think I'll grip it here. Now, when we first got this, we found that the refill was a little less than satisfactory. Actually, at some certain angles, it would actually squeak, and it was. There we go. At a certain angle, I would replace this with a Schmidt. That's what I would do if I was going to use it. But otherwise, it's a rollerball. It's long. Again, there's the two. I'll hold it this way so you can see it in the camera. The acrylic is a nice pattern. It looks. I'd have liked it if it had been maybe a little bit brighter. It looks kind of like a dirty white, but it's a very interesting pattern. That's the rollerball. Let's take a look at the fountain pen. So there are three colors in the J series. There's the black and white that we just saw, this green marble swirl, and then there's also a red and black, or I'm sorry, a blue and red.
I think when I looked into ordering it, it was called the amber red navy, or the amber navy and red.
Yeah, something This is essentially is the same thing. Now the interesting point, when this first came in and Lisa unscrewed the barrel, actually the section stayed inside the cap.
And only the barrel
And only the barrel came off. It has since, I guess, loosened up.
But the first couple times when Dave and I got it into the store, we had to use a tool to get it out, and the section was stuck in the cap.
So let's take a look at, so the same idea here. We've got a section, threads on the end of the barrel, and of course that same
That big step.
big step there. If we look at the nib here, the nib is interesting. I've never seen a nib like this, and we've seen a lot of nibs. You can see it says Iridium Point, Germany on it, and it has a kind of a sunburst pattern, sort of similar like the 3000 series nibs. And I just happen to have an original Esterbrook here with dollar pen with the 3000 series nib, and so you can kind of get an idea. Kind of similar in nature. I suspect that was maybe a coincidence. But kind of a neat pattern. I've not seen that on any other IPG nibs. Now, IPG doesn't necessarily mean it was made in Germany, but again, we don't know.
If you do a quick Google search, according to the Edison Pen Company blog or a post on the Edison Pen Company website, IPG does not mean made in Germany. It means that the tipping material, which is no longer probably iridium, was purchased from Germany. The nibs themselves can be stamped as IPG as long as the tipping has been purchased from Germany, and the actual nibs can be made anywhere. According to Edison, many IPG nibs are made in China or India.
So this is a cartridge converter. Let's actually take a look at the converter that it comes with here for a second. It's your standard piston converter. It has an agitator in it, plastic body construction.
Fairly standard.
Fairly standard. I compare it to a Schmidt K2, which is pretty much the de facto standard. The Esterbrook converter is a little bit shorter. As you can see here, I have the pistons, because I've got the ends lined up here, and the pistons are dialed all the way back. The Schmidt K2 is a little bit longer and has more barrel capacity. Now the Schmidt K2 does not have the agitator, but it's got a little more. Let's take a comparison to a standard international cartridge. Yeah, a little bit less than the standard short international. So that's the converter. It's got kind of a, I'm not crazy about this highly chromed piece here that comes apart.
Not much texture to grip it.
Yeah, and it's tough to get apart. I tried to take it apart and I couldn't get it apart, so I didn't want to break it. So the pen does come with the converter, and it does come with one cartridge. For the purposes of this example, we actually used the cartridge that was included in the pen. Pops in there nice. Section here is plastic. Again, you can see that the threads here. The feed is plastic. There's a number 8 on it, but I don't suspect that means anything. That's not a size number or anything like that. It's probably just the mold number. Threaded in, and again, so now we'll do a little sample here. Now these come in one nib size only. As long as you like medium,
you're all set.
You're all set. Again, I normally hold the pen here, so this is kind of awkward. A
lot of feedback.
Yeah, a little bit of feedback. It's a blue ink cartridge. Not the worst nib I've ever used. Certainly not the best. Probably could stand to do a little bit of smoothing on this. The tines are actually aligned. I did check them. So maybe a little bit of 12,000 grit micro mesh and some Mylar paper will probably smooth this out a little bit. Firm, of course, no flex. The nib is friction fit into the section, so there is no much to everybody's chagrin. There's no removable nib unit. To do this, you pull this whole thing out. So there's no option to swap these out. So a true medium. I don't know what else to say about it.
Now, I have a fairly small hand, and this is really, yeah, it's very awkward right there.
You might have to do it, hold it. You would have to probably do it unposted.
Yeah.
But even still,
There's-
you would have,
there's
that would
no
improve
way.
the balance, but it might.
It fits decently in my hand unposted, but I don't like to have to hold my cap in the other hand. I have a tendency, as many of you know, I'm a little klutzy, and I would probably end up dropping the cap or putting it on my desk. Yeah, it's definitely noisier than I prefer in a nib. Yeah, decent medium. My preference is a fine. Most of you who follow us know that. So I would have preferred an option.
So, and if I, and actually just before we recorded the video, I was writing a little bit with it. Holding onto this pen for just a little bit, I actually start to get on my fingers, you'll be able to see a crease where, you can see it right there, where I'm holding onto the section here. So I'm not going to be hanging on. I'd have to hold it back here, and that's just a little bit too awkward. So so that's the new Esterbrook J. Let's now these retail for $75.
Yes.
Is what they're going for. Street price is actually full retail. Right now there's only one retailer carrying these, and they're selling them at full retail price. There's no discount.
Actually, a company representative did tell me that they could be discounted, as many other pens are, at up to 20%.
Up to 20% off. Okay, so you're looking in the $60 range if you can get it at a discount. So green's kind of an interesting material. Compare it again to the A101, very similar in appearance. It would have probably, it would have made more sense probably to start out with naming this the CA101 or something like that, because it's pretty,
Something other than a J.
it's pretty spot on. Now let's take a look at the other. Now at this price point, there are a number of other pens. So let's take a look at what else is in the market at this retail $75 price range. We'll start on the low end. We've got here the Pilot Prera. These are $70 retail. Street price on these, pretty much you can find them anywhere at $56, 20% off. Friction fit cap. Now a little bit of a smaller pen. You do have 3 nib options with the Pilot. You've got fine, medium, and a 1.1 calligraphy nib, italic. Cartridge converter, proprietary, but
Amazing nib.
nice writer. So you've got now much smaller, so if you've got larger hands, that's not going to work for you. Next up, probably pretty close, in my opinion, in both style and price range, the Monteverdi Prima. Actually, one of my favorite pens in the Monteverdi lineup. Also using this very similar swirl pattern material. Retail on these $70. You can find them again on the street for $56 all day long. Cartridge converter, international. These come in 4 different nib sizes: fine, medium, broad, and a 1.1 stub. So you got a couple different options here. A little better posting. Nice size, not quite as large. Better step here between the barrel and the section. So that's another option for you. Next up, To keep it in kind of the same price range, we picked the TWSBI 580 Rose Gold, retail price $70, which is what this is going to cost you on the street. No discounting on TWSBI. In this particular model, we have 4 different nib sizes: extra fine, fine, medium, broad.
But it's a piston filler.
True piston filler. Yep. You got all that.
Which is a great value.
Yeah, nice ink capacity, easy to take this out, removable nibs. If you went with the standard 580, you're looking at a $50 to $55 street price. About the same size as the new Esterbrook.
TWSBI's been around for several years and has a very good reputation.
Yeah.
Not a great posting
Yeah,
pen.
again, this is going to be very similar. It's going to have a similar issue with posting as the Esterbrook does. So you see here, they're both awkwardly long. In fact, the TWSBI's are even a little bit longer. But I'll give a little bit of a few extra points toward the TWSBI. The barrel's a little bit longer.
And it's a piston.
It's a piston. There's a very, very comfortable grip section here. So
Now we see Philip Wang of TWSBI every year at the LA Pen Show, and I'm always giving him a hard time about not having a pen in the lineup that posts. And when the Classic was redesigned so that it now posts, he did send me a little email telling me that here you go, here's a pen that posts. But most of the 580s don't. Well, all the 580s don't.
next up, another one of my favorite pens from Schaefer, the 300. A little bit heavier pen, metal body construction, about the same size. This one has Schaefer's great spring clip, friction fit, and with a little firm snap on the end.
Great poster.
Nice pen. This pen comes in fine and medium nib width, so you got 2 options, not as many as the rest. But again, 75 bucks gets you a 300, about the same length, same size, a little bit heavier. Of course, then you've got the Noodler's Neponset. Now the Neponset is all around. It is just a hair bigger. Actually, it's not too much bigger. It's bigger in girth. Neponset, of course, you get 1 nib option. The music nib, flexible. Let's take a look at how big these are. So Neponset's a little bit bigger. Similar style of acrylic. And Neponsets are 75. So again, there's another option for you. And last option in that similar price range. Now this is a little bit more and a little bit different. The Kaweco All Sport. These run 80 bucks. International, short, cartridge only. You can get a converter for them.
The Kaweco.
The Kaweco squeeze converter. These come in. You can get these in fine, medium, and actually there are other nib options you can get. So you got a couple nib options. It's small. It's heavy for its size. It's a decent balance though. But just another option in that same price range. So for $5 more, you could opt for an all sport in metal. This blue is a killer color.
With a very smooth writing German nib.
And the caps seal really pretty well on these. Now I will say we've had this Esterbrook ink now for probably a week, and just kind of sitting around the store here. It has not dried out, so the cap appears to seal sufficiently. But there it is.
There it is.
Okay, so there you have it. The new Esterbrook J, the fountain pen, the rollerball, the box there. We've had a lot of requests to review the pens since we got them.
We're known for knowing a little about Esterbrook's.
That's our opinion of the pen, and compare it to some of the other pens in the price range. The acrylics are very nice.
Yeah, they're very similar to a number of other popular pens that are out there.
The swirl is a popular type of acrylic these days.
Yep. Absolutely.
And
Just two users' opinions.
so there it is. If you have any questions, shoot us an email. Make sure to stop by the store if you're in the area, see us at a pen show, or visit us at andersonpens.com.